Hey everyone, this is Seth with Circuit Board Medics. Today we are walking you through the removal and reinstallation process for the motor generator unit, or MGU, on a 2019 to 2026 Ram 1500. Before we dive into the teardown, let's make sure we have all of our tools lined up. Dealing with an MGU means handling a heavy-duty belt system and some specific hardware. So here's what you'll want on your bench. First, you're going to need a 3/8" breaker bar. We'll use this to unload the dual path belt tensioner. While you have that tension held back, you're going to slide a 2.5mm Allen key into place. This acts as our locking device to keep the tensioner safely secured in the unloaded position while we work. Next up, grab your metric sockets and ratchet. You'll need a 10mm, a 13mm, and a 15mm socket. These are for taking off the electrical covers and removing the main MGU mounting bolts, as well as the negative battery terminal. You'll also want to keep a rubber mallet and/or a crowbar nearby. Sometimes those threaded bushings can get a little stubborn, and a few gentle taps with the mallet will help unseat the unit without damaging anything. When it's time to button everything back up, make sure you have a torque wrench that covers a 13 to 41 foot-pounds range. We want to make sure the final tightening matches factory specs perfectly. And finally, a quick pro tip: grab a telescoping magnet. Some of these bolts are in incredibly hard to reach spots, and you'll thank yourself later if one happens to slip out of your hands. Once you've got your gear ready, we can move right on to the prep work. First things first, make sure your vehicle is completely turned off and the key is removed from the ignition. If your truck has a push to start or a remote start feature, we highly recommend taking the key fob completely inside the house. That way you avoid any accidental or automatic startups while your hands are in the engine bay. Go ahead and disconnect the negative battery terminal with your 10mm socket. Remember, this MGU runs on a 48-volt electrical system. Because of that extra power, we want to take strict precautions to prevent any electrical arcing or unexpected damage to your truck's sensitive electronics. Once the battery is unhooked, give the vehicle at least 5 minutes to let all the residual power completely dissipate. Now, let's talk about the belt drive. The eTorque system is designed to actually transfer power back to the engine during a restart, rather than just receiving power from it. Because of that, it uses a unique dual-path belt drive that operates under significantly higher tension than a standard accessory drive. To remove the belt, first remove the limiter bracket with your 13mm socket so you can relieve the tension on your belt. Then use a 15mm socket and relieve the spring tension on the top tensioner. While holding it there against the spring pressure, take your 2.5mm Allen key and drop it into the locking slot. This is a crucial safety step. It locks the tensioner in place so you avoid any sudden snaps or injuries if your tool happens to slip under that high spring pressure. Finally, take your 3/8" breaker bar and fit it into the square hole on the bottom tensioner. Rotate the hydraulic tensioner clockwise to bring it into the fully unloaded position and slip the belt off. With the belt out of the way, we can move on to the electrical connectors. The 48-volt positive cable is hidden safely under a plastic cover. Use a small tool to gently pry that cover back, which will expose the 13mm nut securing the cable to the threaded stud. Carefully remove that nut and then pull the plug straight back and away from the housing. After that, locate the lower voltage wiring harness. Disconnect this one by simply releasing the plastic locking tab and pulling the harness clear of the MGU housing. Now we're ready to remove the hardware. The MGU is held in place by 6 total fastener bolts. You have 2 15mm bolts on the upper front face, 2 13mm bolts on the lower front face, and 2 final 13mm bolts directly on the side. Go ahead and back all 6 of those out. Now, a quick note: if you run into trouble pulling the module out of the bracket, sometimes the rear threaded bushings can become slightly unseated. When they do, they wedge themselves tight against the mounting bracket. If your unit feels stuck, just grab your rubber mallet and give the bushings a few gentle taps back toward the face of the housing. This should free them right up, allowing you to carefully lift the heavy module up and out of the engine bay. Now that you've got your motor generator unit out of the truck, you're facing a pretty common choice. Do you replace it with a factory unit or do you rebuild it? If you look for a brand new factory replacement, you'll quickly find they are expensive, tough to track down, and use the exact same original internal components. That means the exact same weak points that caused your original MGU to fail are still sitting inside the new box, making a repeat failure down the road highly likely. At Circuit Board Medics, we offer a much better path forward. Instead of just slapping a temporary patch on the problem, our comprehensive remanufacturing service zeroes in on the actual root cause of the MGU failures. We replace all known high failure components with heavily upgraded parts that meet or exceed original specifications. That includes swapping out the internal bearings responsible for that loud, annoying, grinding or whining noise you might be hearing. When you choose our rebuild service, you get 1, a true plug-and-play installation. There is absolutely no dealer programming or software flashing required when you get it back. 2, minimized downtime. We provide incredibly fast US-based turnaround times to get you back behind the wheel quickly. And 3, an upgraded lifespan. Your original unit is completely restored to function even better than it did the day it left the factory. So before you jump into the installation steps, head right over to our website to secure your rebuild service. Ship your unit directly to our facility and our team will handle the rest. Now once you received your remanufactured unit back from Circuit Board Medics, it's time for the installation. Before lowering the module back into the engine bay, double check the area to ensure all your wiring and harnesses are pulled back and completely clear. Carefully lower the MGU back into its mounting bracket. Make sure the housing is properly aligned and always start threading the bolts by hand first to completely avoid cross-threading the hardware. Now, the manufacturer mandates a very specific tightening sequence here to ensure the MGU stays perfectly aligned with the belt system. Let's break down those torque specs step by step. First, go to the 2 upper 15mm bolts. These establish your main pulley alignment, and you'll want to torque them to 41 foot-pounds. Second, move to the 2 front lower 13mm bolts to secure the vertical position. Torque these down to 18 foot-pounds. Third, take the single signed 13mm bolt for the final lateral stabilization and torque it to 18 foot-pounds. Fourth, tighten the remaining side 13mm bolts for electrical current transfer. These only require 13 foot-pounds. Now that the MGU is securely bolted down, we can reconnect our electrical power. Plug the 48-volt connector back in and secure it to the stud using your 13mm nut. It is incredibly important that you do not over-tighten this nut. Over-torquing it puts unnecessary mechanical stress on the internal electronics. So snug it down firmly, but carefully. Then reconnect the lower voltage wiring harness and resecure the locking tab. With the electrical secured, go ahead and reroute your serpentine belt around the pulleys. Installation of the drive belt is just the reverse of removal. Once you have rerouted the belt, be sure to remove the Allen key and move the top tensioner back into place. Finish up with 2 13mm bolts on the limiter bracket to secure the belt tensioner housing. Torque these final bolts to 18 foot-pounds. We are almost to the finish line. Before you throw that plastic engine beauty cover back on, we want to run a quick operational check. Reconnect your negative battery terminal, make sure your tools are clear of the belt path, and start up the truck. Step out and listen closely to the engine bay. You're making sure that there aren't any unusual squeaks, belt slips, or mechanical grinds happening. Once you verify that the engine is purring exactly the way it should, go ahead and shut it down, snap your beauty cover back into place, and take the truck out for a careful test drive. And that is how you successfully remove and reinstall your eTorque MGU. If this video helped you save time and get your truck back on the road, go ahead and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more step-by-step repair guides. If you need your module rebuilt, head over to circuitboardmedics.com or click the link in the description below to get started. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.